Originally in Spanish, 2020. There are several types of medical pods. Total immersion pod, medical pod for repair of damaged tissue or repair of physiological problems, maternal pod, surgical pod or artificial surgeon, specialized cloning pod. Today, we will talk about maternal pods. Aneeka, during abductions, where are the chips placed?
They are placed in many places, but the most common are in the back of the hand, behind the skull, at the base of the spine, or over the heart area under the skin. The chips are usually not symmetrical to hide them. Sometimes they're less than a millimeter long, but they can appear larger if the body begins to reject them, as it produces fibrous tissue around them. They are mistaken for fibroids or non-cancerous tumors.
Thank you. And when they abduct a fetus or the mother to be a starseed carrier, do they leave a mark?
Generally, they leave a mark. The other way that leaves less obvious marks is done in the vagina. This is the form of incisions on the belly. They are common. They can occur in other places on the body. Distance between the points, more or less 5 millimeters. My understanding is that the device moves the distance. I mean that the distance between the points is variable. It is something that injects into the area nanochips that alter the frequency of the mother, especially of the uterus. As the frequency of the incoming starseed is too high, it tends to cause rejection in the human mother if the difference is not taken care of in time. It sustains a specific frequency at least during gestation.
And why is the frequency of the mother altered?
In order for the mother to be able to carry out a successful gestation, it produces rejection of the starseed because it is of another frequency, because in itself, it is not necessarily her son or daughter. That is, the mother is only lending her uterus, and it produces rejection in the mother's body because it is not her genetics. This happens in many cases, but not in all. Starseeds that are born from starseeds do not have this problem, or not necessarily, but starseeds that try to enter from a human mother do. It can be seen as it can be interpreted here, as a silent invasion of humanity, where they are being replaced little by starseeds from everywhere. This is also why the Cabal rejects and attacks the starseeds.
And where do they put the extracted fetus?
It's an incubator for babies, but it's essentially a medical pod. It's nothing like a terrestrial incubator. The baby stays inside a special liquid with life support systems and a high-tech hologram overlay based on his or her genetics. That is, the baby is formed in a tube in a special yellow liquid with nutrients where his or her stem cells develop following the pattern imposed by the high-energy hologram, because they follow the patterns of the dominant frequency. That is, the stem cells will agglutinate in the corresponding places of higher magnetic energy, following the map, which is the hologram. Stem cells have the potential to become any type of cell in the body. It is the hologram that activates their internal genetics so that this group of stem cells become liver cells, heart or nerve cells, bone or skin cells. When the baby is formed, they extract it from the medical pod and pass it to the awakening area, translating it freely. A baby born from such a med-pod is not born or is not ready at the apparent 9 months of gestation, but comes out with a development of more or less a year and 3 months. The total gestation time in MedPod is 3 months, not 9 months. Then it enters care, like a nursery, where the specialized personnel takes over. Life Support Systems is a fluid filtering system that contains stem cells as well, based on the genetics of the individual. They work with an umbilical cord that filters the baby's blood and supplies nutrients through it, all computer controlled. The latter system is exclusive to maternal medical pods, as their damage repair medical pods do not have this system.
And the babies that come out of the maternal medical pod in 3 months, what do they look like?
When they come out, they look like a baby between 1 year and 1 year and 3 months old, already with their systems more developed for the baby's own safety. It is safer for them. It doesn't make sense for them to be born at 9 months because no one is going to give birth to them, nor are they going to lack nutrients.
And do they behave like a 1-year-old already?
No, they are very basic. They're newborns. Only their body is more developed, but they recover or increase their knowledge very quickly. They make up for lost time very quickly. The level of premature deaths goes down dramatically if they're born at a year or a little more than if they were born under a year. From there, they're cared for by foster mothers, at least as infants, and they are given breast milk as well, but it is laboratory formed with everything in it. Breast milk is basically cells from the mother herself. They can be replicated using stem cells in the same way that you can produce a whole body. It's real breast milk. It just didn't come from a woman, and it's far from being baby formula as it is known on Earth. The aspect of contact with others, proximity to a mother or one's own, is vitally important at birth.